Success requires that you engage in the process of your personal growth at all times. And of all the things in life, what you believe about yourself can impact your success or failure. People who believe that their abilities can be improved through their hard work and dedication typically move ahead and take action without coming up with excuses. These same people also demonstrate an open mind, are willing to learn, and have been seen as most successful in different aspects of their life. So how do they do it? This video course will tell you how. You will see that the mind is the ultimate force to get you where you want to go, but you need to harness its power correctly. How can you do that? Let's find out together. In this video, we'll talk about what is mindset. The mind is a very powerful tool, and the way it thinks makes you who you are as a person. Also known as mindset, this thinking pattern or your frame of mind impacts how you make sense of the world as well as of yourself. So in other words, a mindset is a set of beliefs and thoughts which influence the way you handle any given situation. It pretty much dictates your personality, helping you sort out what's going on around you and what you should do about it. How mindsets are formed. Since time immemorial, people have thought, acted, and fared differently from one another. For the most part, common sense dictates that these differences arise from the variances in people's backgrounds, learning experiences, and training. Plus, research also points in the same direction. So while experiences, backgrounds, and training are all external variables, even internal variables like genetic makeup have a part to play. Most experts today agree that forming a mindset is a combination of the two. For instance, while everyone comes with a unique set of genetics, their experiences, training, and personal efforts take them the rest of the way. So your life experiences and genetics together help frame your attitude and beliefs. And since both have an important part to play in your mindset, it helps to know what these two factors are all about. First off, your attitude to something is how you think or feel about it, especially when it shows in the way you behave. Your attitude can have different components, such as an emotional component, or how something or someone makes you feel. Then there is the cognitive component, which is how or what you think about the subject. This is finally followed by the behavioral component, which shows how you behave when confronted by the subject. Then there are your beliefs, which are merely feelings of certainty about something. Beliefs are based on ideas, and when at a specific point, these ideas start to feel certain. They turn into beliefs. Beliefs, in turn, shape your attitude, which in turn shape your mindset. Attitudes and beliefs then give rise to habits which are a direct reflection of your mindset. Perhaps the most common and well-known example of a mindset is seeing the glass as half empty or half full. Types of mindsets. There are different types of mindsets that can either help you unleash your best or contain your potential. There could be a long list of these, but here are a few which have been backed by research. Here's a quick glance at the following. Abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. The way you view abundance or scarcity in different aspects of life greatly influences your success in life. For instance, imagine that two people are walking down the street. They are talking to each other, laughing, joking, and all the while breathing in and breathing out. Now, do you think that one of the two might worry that there may not be enough oxygen for the both of them? Likely not, since air is abundant. Now place the same two people scuba diving where one's tank starts to malfunction. That person signals the need for oxygen, and suddenly the air around them becomes a precious commodity. This scarcity could easily make the two worry with a concern that what if there isn't enough oxygen for the both of them? For the most part, the general population seems to be more inclined towards a scarcity mentality. They often view life as having only so much, and if they had to share, there wouldn't be enough for them. This sad mentality makes it very hard for such people to share anything, including credit, recognition, responsibility, or even authority with others. Instead, they only end up competing for available resources even when there may be an abundance of them. On the other hand, those with an abundance mentality are not limited by this thinking pattern. Instead of seeing opportunity as limited, they strive to create more opportunity for themselves and embrace change instead of fearing it. To sum up, a person with a scarcity mindset chooses negative thoughts and adopts a victim mentality. At best, their everyday focus is on all the things that may not be working. But others with an abundance mindset tend to put all their energy reserves into what is working and see endless possibilities to improve their current situation. Productive mindset versus defensive mindset. This combo basically deals with everyday performance. Many people may think that they have a productive mindset or that they are being productive, whereas they are actually just being busy. In reality, they may not be productively finishing tasks and completing projects. Think about your daily to-do list and the 10 or so things you need to get done by the end of the day. You may have spent all your day running around and doing stuff, but when it's 5 p.m. and you wrap up for the day, you realize that you only managed to tick off 3 of the 10 things you were supposed to do. You feel like you're working all the time but don't actually get much done. Does this mean that you're lazy and don't want to achieve your goals? Or perhaps it has something to do with your mindset. Having a productive mindset means that you utilize all your resources, including your time, energy, and efforts in the best possible way. At the same time, it also means that you don't try to do everything, be everywhere, or even do it in the fastest way possible. Quite the contrary, it means making the most of what is available while enjoying the process. Those with a productive mindset seek out valid knowledge that is testable and use their reasoning to make informed choices. As such, these people find a way and spend more time finding solutions to better performance instead of finding problems and getting stuck. On the other hand, the defensive mindset, like its name suggests, is both self-protective and self-defensive. This type of mindset only seeks out information that it feels comfortable with and shuts down when perceived as threatening. Obviously, this thinking pattern can become very limiting. It's also an apparent way to shun creativity, find better alternatives to existing problems, and very easily fall in a rut. But perhaps the biggest setback of this mindset is that you learn something based on false assumptions or prevent learning altogether. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. This combo is perhaps the best known in terms of mindsets. Very briefly, a fixed mindset is a static view where you believe that you are either good at something or you just aren't. On the other hand, a growth mindset is a learning mindset with a dynamic view. This mindset allows you to believe that you can change, improve, prosper, and get better at anything through the right training. Now, going back to the 3 pairs of mindsets, it's fairly easy to see that one mindset from each pair allows you to explore, grow, and be more content in general. The other does the opposite. These limiting mindsets may appear to offer more comfort, be easier to follow, and require less effort, but do come at a cost. Not only do they repel the positive in life, but can also hold you back from achieving your full potential. In this video, we'll learn why mindset is important. Now, every mindset can work in a dual manner. For instance, while your individual mindset can open doors for you, it can also set serious limitations based on your beliefs and approach in different scenarios. This means that just as mindsets can help you spot opportunities, they can equally well trap you in self-defeating cycles as well. The stories that you tell yourself and the things that you believe about yourself can go either way. First off, if you become trapped in a negative or limiting mindset, then your mindset will prevent change from happening in your life. But if you develop a positive mindset, then you allow new skills to blossom. Because your mindset holds your set of beliefs, it has immense potential to make a difference in your life. For most people, their beliefs are the core of their efforts. As such, beliefs distinguish people who are successful at what they do as opposed to others who continually struggle. These beliefs form the basis of where your abilities comes from. Just think about your talents, your intelligence, and your personality. Do you consider these traits to be simply fixed and permanent? Or do you think these are aspects which you can cultivate and improve on through life? The rigidity or flexibility about these beliefs is what determines your mindset. Having the right mindset for any particular task is almost a prerequisite for success. Whether you're a parent, teacher, student, entrepreneur, or in any other profession, you need the right mindset to be successful at what you do. Every profession comes with its own hurdles and obstacles, and having a positive mindset allows you to not only overcome those obstacles, but even welcome them as challenges or an opportunity to learn and grow. If you look around you, you'll see that often people with similar circumstances have very different results in life. This happens because of their mindset. Since your mindset regarding events and situations influences your interpretation of them, the results will be different from someone else with a different mindset. If you've got a positive mindset, you'll find it easier to overcome setbacks than others with a negative or limiting mindset. Or, if you have a negative mindset, you'll feel the world collapse under your feet every time there is an unpleasant experience. If your core beliefs don't support you, then you'll likely set yourself up for failure when faced with a difficult situation. You may be more susceptible to surrendering and admitting failure when all you need to do is try harder or perhaps take on a different approach. You may also need to change your frame of mind. But mindsets aren't mere beliefs and have the capacity to dictate your reactions to situations and other tendencies. They serve a number of cognitive functions and let you frame situations. At the same time, your mindset will also direct your attention to the most important cues and filter out irrelevant information so that you don't overwhelm yourself. Your mindset will also give you direction by recommending sensible goals to achieve so that you have a sense of direction. Once your mindset becomes habitual, it defines who you are and what you can become. How mindsets are formed. For the majority of people, their mindset is created for them at an early age. It may be through parents, teachers, friends, or others that you readily absorb what you were told. And because when you're young and have no other point of reference, you accept the offered knowledge. This basic information then becomes embedded within your psyche and starts to shape your beliefs about the world and your place within it. As you grow and mature, life experiences and events may contradict that earlier knowledge and somewhat change your mindset. However, the earlier knowledge continues to stick and becomes your reference point for much of your life. For instance, if you're surrounded by people who are in a constant state of anxiety and overwhelm, then there's a good chance that you'll develop a mindset that mirrors reactions to life in ways that are anxious and overwhelmed. Your mindset continues developing and becomes stronger the more you repeat and practice your beliefs. Now, if you become locked in a negative or limiting mindset, then you'll likely keep repeating negative self-talk and start to see things in a certain way. This practice can become self-fulfilling until you completely believe it to be true. On the other end of the spectrum, if you have a positive mindset, then it gets reinforced through your beliefs and consequent actions. The emotion factor. However, repetition isn't the only factor at play in the creation of habits and beliefs. The emotion factor also plays in this equation. When you mix repeated thoughts and actions with emotions, the expected results can alter. Both helpful and bad habits get created the same way, through repetition. But the habit can be embedded more quickly and strongly when combined with emotion. Take the example of comfort eating. You know that it's not good for you, but since it makes you feel good at a time when you are down, you turn to this habit to lift up your spirits. Once you get into the cycle, you develop a behavior paired with powerful emotion, and an unhealthy eating habit is formed. What does science say about mindsets? Neuroscience, or the study of the nervous system, tells us that the brain is continually creating and destroying neural pathways. These pathways, in turn, form our thoughts and behavior patterns, which tells your brain to make decisions, choose actions, and present you to the outside world. Among these, the pathways which are used more become stronger, while others that remain underused become weak and ultimately get replaced. This scientific data correlates with the explanation of different mindsets because the brain is pre-wired with the bias to learn new things. At the same time, there are also those people who learn to stop learning and become trapped in a fixed mindset. People with positive mindsets are more likely to improve, which reinforces the thought that ability can be enhanced. On the flip side, people with a negative mindset appear to stagnate, which reinforces the thought that they get stuck at their current ability level with no improvement. These two particular are of concern to us in this video course, and are known as the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. The difference between the two is that while one focuses on the results achieved, the other stresses on the process. The fixed mindset prioritizes results such as getting that job or losing those 30 pounds, where the person thinks that they are defined by the result. The growth mindset tells you that the effort put into the process of achieving that result is more important. This is because you can become more intelligent, more creative, and more successful by focusing on the process and not the outcome. It leaves a lot of room for improvement, which means you continue to grow as a person. Going forward, let's take a closer look at each type. In this video, we'll talk about fixed versus growth mindset. By now you know that the way you think about your ability has a very real impact on the results you achieve in life. Interestingly enough, both fixed and growth mindsets are highly self-reinforcing, but in vastly different ways. If you believe that ability is an ingrained or fixed feature which you were born with and can't change, then you have what is called a fixed mindset. But if you think that you can develop this ability through effort and practice, then you have a growth mindset. Each belief leads to different behaviors and consequently different results. Of the two, having a growth mindset, where you're ready and willing to learn and improve, is the key to success. Having said that, it doesn't imply that hard work, persistence, and struggle aren't important. They are, but only when you believe that you aren't limited and are in full control of your destiny. Mindset in practice. Individuals with these two mindsets not only think differently, but also react to information in a different manner. In fact, the differences can be stark when they respond to information about performance. For instance, people with a fixed mindset respond very well to information about how well they have done something. It could be anything from trying out a new recipe, learning a new language, working on a DIY project, or doing well on test results and grades. Their minds are most active when they learn about their good performance. Their prime but somewhat limited concern is with the results achieved with stress on the praise they receive. On the other hand, people with a growth mindset tend to be most responsive when they are told about the ways they could improve their performance. These folks want to learn how to better themselves, which leaves a lot of room for growth. They are more interested in strategies to help them evolve and the process of doing so, not merely their talent or ability. The two are, in fact, very different approaches, with the former being focused on how did I do, as opposed to the latter which deals with what can I do better next time. The fixed mindset is all about how the performance was perceived, and the growth mindset is about how improvement can take place. It isn't hard to see which mindset will yield better results in the long run. Mindset in action. When it comes to taking action, both the fixed as well as the growth mindset are also poles apart. To refer to a very well-known example, let's take the story of the tortoise and the hare. In the story, the hare was so certain that he could win that he sat down and went to sleep during the race. On the other hand, the tortoise was persistent and kept going, believing that he had a chance of winning. When the hare woke up, he started running as fast as he could, but he was just too late. In the meantime, the tortoise had won. So the story shows that the hare had a fixed mindset where he believed that his inherent ability for speed would guarantee a win. But the tortoise showed a growth mindset where he believed he needed to work hard to get to a certain point. At the same time, he was not afraid of failure but ready to take on a challenge. This also points out to the fact that a fixed mindset can be susceptible to an overly perfect finished view of oneself. Much like the hare, this thinking pattern suggests that you are already perfect, and so your brain becomes less adept at recognizing opportunities for improvement. The basics of fixed versus growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset accept their traits as givens. They believe there's a certain amount of intelligence and talent, and there is nothing that can change this fact. So people with this mindset are often concerned about their traits and how adequate they are. With a fixed mindset, you believe that your ability is innate, and you find failure unsettling as it makes you question how good you really are. Another belief shared by people with this mindset is that there's a hidden upper limit to what you can achieve. For instance, if you've struggled through school, you may well believe that you're not cut out for college. You may never even try out for college but get stuck in a low-paying, non-engaging job instead. Such a job won't do anything for stimulating your brain, and the belief of inadequacy becomes your reality. On the other hand, if you have a growth mindset, then you accept that you can improve your ability and failure only tells what you should work on. Those who have a fixed mindset are all about proving themselves and often become defensive should anyone point out that they made an error. This mindset only allows people to measure themselves by their failures. The growth mindset, on the other hand, often exhibits resilience and perseverance in the face of errors. Instead of adopting a defensive approach, they become motivated to better their performance. So when distinguishing the fixed mindset from the growth mindset, keep the following in mind. Goals. The fixed mindset wants to look smart, whereas the growth mindset wants to learn and improve. Challenge seeking. The fixed mindset avoids challenges, but the growth mindset seeks it out. Change. Change is seen as a threat by the fixed mindset, but the growth mindset views the same as a challenge. Response to setbacks. People trapped in a fixed mindset respond poorly to setbacks, appearing helpless, but those with a growth mindset appear resilient. Response to criticism. The fixed mindset will appear defensive when faced with criticism, but the growth mindset will learn from it. Response to wrongdoing. The fixed mindset tends to punish and retaliate in this situation, whereas the growth mindset tends to educate and compromise. Viewing others' success. The fixed mindset views others' success as a threat, but the growth mindset sees it as inspiring. In this video, we'll learn about the dangers of a fixed mindset. The advantages of a growth mindset may seem apparent, but many people have a fixed mindset in certain situations. This can be very counterproductive because this mindset prevents important skills from developing and growing. This, in turn, sabotages your happiness and health in the future. As an example, let's assume that you aren't a science whiz. If you keep telling yourself that you aren't a science person or that science isn't your thing, then that assertion becomes an excuse to not study science. While with a fixed mindset, you may avoid short-term failure, you are also hindering your potential to grow, learn, and acquire new skills in the long run. On the other hand, your peer with a growth mindset tries to give science a go despite failing at first. Now this person likely sees failure as a sign to continue working on their skills instead of accepting that they aren't good at something. In the long run, your peer will optimize their potential as they chose to benefit from criticism instead of ignoring it. They decided to overcome a challenge instead of avoiding it and saw a learning opportunity rather than feel threatened. So if you think things like, it's impossible to lose the weight, I'm not a natural artist, I'm not creative, or I'm a procrastinator, then you'll miss out on many experiences. In the end, you quit, don't learn as much, and it becomes decidedly harder to get any better. Here are other aspects you'll miss out on. Undermining the importance of effort. In a fixed mindset, basic qualities such as talent or intelligence are considered fixed traits. Such individuals have a tendency to document their talent or intelligence rather than develop them. They may also credit talent alone to success, without effort. When they are good at something, they gladly attribute it to their talent, such as scoring high on a test or doing well on a project. However, at the same time, they also consider their shakier skills to be fixed as well. So instead of developing these skills, they tend to accept them as is with no effort invested on improvement, such as, I'm not cut out to handle a paintbrush. They accept that they are the way they are and can't get any better at it or change. The obsession to prove worth. People with a fixed mindset feel a need to prove their worth. Every scenario demands a confirmation of their personality, intelligence, or character. Every scenario is also overly evaluated, resulting in questions like, will I succeed or fail? Will I seem dumb or smart? Will I be rejected or accepted? And so on. Although they seem desperate for approval, they are going to go beyond their capabilities to achieve the success they so badly want. They tend to get stuck because they're terrified of being disapproved that they're not willing to develop. The desire to be flawless. Taking it a step further, the problem with a fixed mindset is that it is not enough just to succeed, neither is it enough to look smart and talented. If anything, the desire is to appear pretty much flawless. So what happens in the end is that if failure means you lack potential or competence, then you are stuck being a failure. There is nowhere to go from this point. Instead, you end up focusing on avoiding failure at any cost and try to preserve feelings of success. You don't try anything new because if you don't think you'll excel at it, you don't want others to see you fail. In the end, the entire process can be very restricting and frustrating. Decreasing self-knowledge. Perhaps one of the most damaging effects of a fixed mindset is that it decreases self-knowledge. Instead, the focus shifts to external rewards and validations. With this mindset, attention is taken away from internal development. By constantly striving for external recognition and signs of success, you tend to deceive not only others but yourself as well. It also takes away from who you really are. The need for constant validation. Your mindset can also impact your relationship with others. Often individuals with a fixed mindset feel insecure and expect their partners, friends, peers, and others to support them in every situation. They only want to be around people who praise them for their skills and give them confidence they were unable to establish for themselves. However, this can present problems for what if the romantic liaisons end, friendships fall out, or conflict arises among peers. Any of these situations would leave a person with a fixed mindset with low esteem, poor confidence, and a lot of doubt and fear. To summarize, here is how a fixed mindset looks at things. Skills. The fixed mindset believes this is something you're born with which can't be changed. Challenges. The fixed mindset regards this as something to avoid at all costs. There is the constant threat that a challenge could expose your lack of skill, and you tend to give up easily when in such a position. Effort. This is considered unnecessary by the fixed mind. It's something that people resort to when they aren't good enough for the job. Feedback. Feedback makes the fixed mindset get on the defensive. When given feedback, people with this mindset take it personally and consider it an exclusive attack on their performance or skills. If it isn't to their liking, they may even ignore the feedback completely. Setbacks. When faced with setbacks, people with a fixed mindset will put the blame on others. They also get discouraged easily and are more likely to quit completely. Remember that these are all triggers that not only establish but also give away a fixed mindset. Switching from one to the other can be hard but is possible. You need to watch out for these triggers because a fixed mindset can and will hold you back. Specific behaviors to move away from a fixed mindset can include the following suggestions. Listen to your inner voice. If you don't do so, it will rule your behavior in a habitual way, keeping you stuck where you are. When you find someone better than you, learn from them. When you are faced with a choice between something safe and something challenging, go for the challenge. When you hit a bump in the road, ask yourself what you can learn from it or what you can do next. When you receive feedback, don't get offended or take it as personal criticism. Think of ways how you can use this information to better your performance. In this video, we'll learn about the power of a growth mindset. A growth mindset allows people to view themselves as capable of doing well in most, if not all, settings. They definitely don't consider themselves as restricted by their current abilities, but believe that they can do whatever they want as long as they practice. Consider the example of being given a new project, something that you haven't worked on before. Now your response could go either way. You could look at this new challenge and think that you're not qualified to do this work, or that such numbers, texts, or designs weren't your cup of tea. This would obviously reflect a fixed mindset, and you'd miss out on everything mentioned in the previous video. However, you could also look at the same and start planning how you could make it work. You could deliberate what you'd need to bring to the table and what it would take to get the desired results. This optimism and creativity indicates a growth mindset, which will also empower you to gain the following. Improvement through effort. A growth mindset allows people to believe that their basic abilities can develop through hard work and dedication. For this lot, brains and talents are merely the starting points and allows them to build on these. This group of people exhibits an eagerness for learning and resilience, which is a must for accomplishment. People with a growth mindset view their qualities as traits which can be developed through their commitment and effort. Being of a growth mindset, you're willing to try out new things because you know your success depends on your effort and not any innate ability. You're not focused on avoiding failure because you believe that if you do poorly, you can improve and succeed in time. Plus, research also indicates that growth mindset allows people to navigate stress and challenges better and lead to higher levels of well-being. Offers a sense of fulfillment. Unlike the fixed mindset, one of the most obvious benefits of the growth mindset are the endless opportunities to be availed. With a growth mindset, you continually pursue betterment followed by a sense of achievement and fulfillment. A sense of achievement is also a precursor to a higher standard of excellence. In the process, you learn that success is a continuous work in progress rather than instant gratification. Develops resilience. A growth mindset also lets you develop resilience. When you face challenges or setback, your mindset takes a more positive approach handling these. For instance, when you're given feedback, you know that it's an effective learning strategy that will help you set appropriate goals and standards for the future. Buffers against demotivation. People with a growth mindset seek out opportunities and challenges to engage them rather than get their satisfaction from results. This means being motivated to do more and more. Being more process-oriented rather than purely result-oriented, these people thrive when they are in the process of doing something. The process presents a learning opportunity, stimulates them, and drives them on to do even more. Encourages perseverance. A growth mindset also demands perseverance. The focus of a growth mindset is not to concentrate on what happens to you, but on what happens for you. Perseverance also means kicking fear of failure out the door. This amounts to taking chances when opportunity presents them and not limit yourself to living an overly cautious or paranoid life. Tenacity is an essential ingredient for a growth mindset, and since you can't always have a 100% success rate with every challenge you tackle, tenacity will help reflect on your failures in the right manner. Failure to find a solution usually opens up an opportunity for you to work on your skills and learn something new. When most people hit a wall, they either make an excuse or simply give up. However, a person with a growth mindset realizes that failure is an inevitable component of achieving success. As such, they prepare for failure mentally, knowing that it will come at some time or the other. The thought neither scares them nor makes them give up. Plus, allowing yourself to fail a little takes the pressure off of getting a perfect result every time. Promotes critical thinking. When you talk about learning, making mistakes is a must because it forces you to identify where you made a mistake. This effort also helps you not only pinpoint a solution, but also develop critical thinking. Let's assume you don't get a somewhat tricky lesson in class. Should you switch off your brain because you feel you can't figure it out? You're not going to gain anything. However, if you acknowledge the same by working on the problem, asking questions, and evaluating critically, you have a better chance of finding an answer. At the same time, the effort that you put in will help your brain create new neural connections and become better equipped at solving similar problems. Practice makes perfect. Not to overuse an age-old cliche, but for a growth mindset, practice does indeed make perfect, or more accurately, a lot better at what you practice. Since the growth mindset is triggered more by a dedication for learning as opposed to a yearning for approval, practice and effort promote qualities like creativity and intelligence. Individuals with this mindset neither get discouraged by failure, nor do they consider themselves as failing but as learning. In fact, practicing repeatedly does have a significant role in the learning process and is necessary to achieving expertise. One thing that most experts agree on is that training improves performance and changes the brain. To summarize, a growth mindset sees the following situations as skills. The growth mindset believes that skills are something that you can constantly change, improve, and develop. Skills come from hard work, so you can't stop working. Challenges. The growth mindset is eager to embrace challenges and views them as an opportunity to grow. The chance to engage in a challenge makes the growth mind more persistent. Effort. Effort is essential for a growth mindset and may even override talent. When the growth mindset sees effort as the path to success, it realizes the necessity for lifelong learning. Feedback. The growth mindset views feedback as something constructive and an experience to learn from. It is an effective means to identify areas that need improvement. Setbacks. Instead of putting a damper on things, setbacks are seen as ways to improve on current talents and efforts. In this video, we'll discuss whether it is possible to change your mindset. Beliefs can be changed when they no longer serve you or enable you to get to your goals. Resistant to change. Although mindsets can change, this only happens very slowly. This is especially true if you have long-held beliefs about something. For instance, if you have been told that eating an apple a day is good for you, you may find it difficult to believe if someone told you otherwise. Even though a fixed mindset is easy to form, it is resistant to change. Take the example of a stake holding a tent in its place in the ground. Although it can be moved, once it has been placed, you are reluctant to move it unless there is good reason to do so. So once you have formed a mindset about something, it conditions your future opinion about that thing. For instance, if you consider an upcoming event boring because the last one of the same kind was actually boring, you may not want to go at all. However, if you do go and find it to be not boring at all, it may take you some time to change your mindset. Using fear to change your mindset. An individual with a fixed mindset is more interested in looking smart than with learning. And as such, when you want to appear smart, you become fearful of looking stupid. This in itself is an inhibiting factor. It's a possibility that this stems from a feeling of rejection or ridicule from childhood experiences or events stored in your unconscious mind that you may not even remember consciously. As a result of this unconscious fear, your fixed mindset avoids trying new things, resists learning, stalls your development, and may even make you act lazy. To counter this effectively and change your mindset, you need to become aware of the fear driving your behavior, and then realize that this fear has no basis in your present reality. You need to overcome it and let it go. As an example, students with a fixed mindset view their intelligence level as unchanging. Their prime concern remains proving that they are smart or hiding that they are not. As such, they tend to avoid situations where they might fail. They also don't recover well from setbacks and only prefer engaging in tasks that they can already do well. The same also reflects in others with this mindset where they limit themselves and sabotage their efforts. Using actions to change your mindset. Another approach to changing mindsets is through actions, since skills and talents get developed through repetition and constant practice. The key to changing a fixed mindset is identifying and refuting the fixed mindset voice and taking growth-oriented action repeatedly. Although this isn't something that happens overnight, you can develop new skills through deliberate and repeated practice. And for every new skill that you develop, your fixed mindset voice weakens. Identifying your counter mindsets. Mindsets get formed through previous experiences and emotional milestones, but when these mindsets do not deliver the results you expect, they become counter mindsets. This results in producing feelings of self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and other negative thoughts that get in the way of progress. For the most part, these negative thoughts occur so often that you may not even be aware of them. Think about that nudging voice which makes disparaging comments when you look in the mirror. It is the same voice which makes you unhappy with the way you look, makes you hesitate when approaching someone new, or even when you want to consider a career change. Now, everyone experiences negative thoughts or counter mindsets to a different degree, but the damage is collateral. It allows you to habitually destroy your dreams and makes it very hard to remain positive. The only thing that remains are nasty reminders like, I can't talk to him or her, I'm not smart enough for that, I'm not qualified enough, or I'm out of shape, and so on. To change your mindset, you need to pay attention to when this voice gets raised and how often it happens. This will allow you to pinpoint the triggers of your counter mindset and narrow it down to a few key themes. Shifting gears from the negative to the positive. Once you have established your negative thoughts, you need to prevent them from holding you back. Whenever a negative thought surfaces, counter it by giving an instant yet positive reaction. Say you want to go for a walk after dinner to get in more exercise, but the problem is that once dinner is over, you start hearing that voice that you're too tired, too full, or that it's too late to go out now. Put a stop to that thinking pattern right away by getting up and putting on your walking shoes. You will find that often just taking that first step is enough to turn off that nasty voice in your head. Understand why you need to change. Changing mindsets takes work as formed habits aren't easy to break. This becomes even more challenging since many of the bad or limiting habits got formed when you were little, and you have been doing things the same ever since. Understanding why you need to change a habit or mindset will make it more meaningful. Here are two things that should come in handy: motivation and willpower. First, you'll need to rely on motivation to get you through changing your habits, and while the why will provide you with motivation, it can be hard to maintain in the long run. This is where willpower should step in and keep you going. However, willpower can run out fairly quickly too. Think about trying to eat healthier, and then you find a pack of Girl Scout cookies next to the fruit bowl at work. Maybe you get your willpower together and resist the cookies. Next, you plan on going to the gym after work, but need to stay behind for some reason. By the time you're done, you're not only tired, but out of willpower as well. Plus, the fact that you weren't able to stick to your original plan doesn't help either. So do you end up going to the gym or straight home? You probably know the answer because it happens to everyone. So when you try to change your habits by relying on motivation and willpower alone, these might not be enough on their own. And that's also why so many people give up on changing their habits soon after they start, unable to follow through. Instead, what you need to do is become a little forgiving and allow yourself some space to stumble. A fixed mindset leaves no allowance for mistakes, leaving you emotionally drained and hesitant to try anything new. Start small to finish big. One of the best ways to change mindsets is to start small towards big goals. Trying to become healthy, wealthy, or wise, along with more compassionate, calmer, and successful is never easy. Once again, you need to fight all your demons embedded in your mindset from those early years. So if you find yourself stressed most of the time, try to meditate for 2 minutes every night before sitting in a lotus position for a straight half hour and a racing mind. If you would like to become more fit, start with something as small as 1 push-up only. Build your strength up along with your mindset before you get to an impressive set of 20. Decide on your tiny goal and pursue it with a positive mindset. Oftentimes, you may find that you actually do more than what you aimed for, maybe 2 to 3 push-ups instead of 1, and you will feel great as you overachieve. On other days, you may only achieve the minimum, but still feel good since you met the goal. Many people think that it's pointless to start so small, but consistently hitting small goals successfully can help form new mindset habits. In this video, we'll discuss about the strategies to develop a growth mindset. When you let results such as your test scores, your weight, your job, or your appearance define you, you become the victim of a fixed mindset. On the contrary, a growth mindset is all about learning, and you can speed up the process by following some true and tried strategies. Continual learning. A growth mindset is foremost about evolving and growing. As such, instead of looking to others for approval, you need to look to others to help you improve. This means that you don't feel compelled to justify everything you do. Doing so only means you sacrifice your potential for growth. Instead, prioritize your learning over approval, as this will help you grow and succeed in your ventures. At the same time, trying new things will help you come up with different ideas and make you aware of what you are good at. You can also start challenging yourself with new tasks to develop your potential. Be committed. When you pair continual learning with commitment, you set yourself up for excellence. Too often, people make the mistake of wobbly commitment, thinking that they are committed to their cause or goal, but they're really not. With a shaky mindset, people set out to try things and then just wait to see what happens. During the process, many people only focus on the fact that they haven't yet accomplished their goal and can't stop thinking about how much further they have to go. This limiting mindset can sabotage your efforts, making you more prone to giving up. However, when you develop a growth mindset, this problem gets eliminated. When you decide that you are fully committed to achieving your goals, regardless of any setbacks, you are more likely to succeed. Here's a very simple, everyday example. You wake up late, jump out of bed, already stressed that you will miss your bus or your carpool. In the rush, you skip breakfast, dress hurriedly, and rush out the door only to find that you have indeed missed your ride. Now, a fixed mindset will likely respond by muttering, cursing, calling names, and stay in a foul mood for the rest of the day. But if you are working towards developing a growth, you will see this as an opportunity to commit to a more timely routine to make sure that this doesn't happen again. You will then respond by going to bed early, setting an alarm, and laying out your clothes in the evening so that tomorrow is better and different. Don't just commit to planning it out in your head, but commit to carrying it out in action. Develop healthy self-esteem. It can become very hard to aim for or achieve success without self-esteem. Before you can hope to grow or improve, you need to believe that you are capable of achieving your goal. Since you can't afford to undermine yourself, it becomes important that you stop worrying about what others think. Your self-esteem is how you see yourself, a reflection of your mindset. It is created from an internal dialogue with yourself where you perceive and evaluate your worth, whether positive or negative. To have a strong self-esteem, you need a strong mindset, one that allows you to grow and evolve. Work on your perspective. Every mindset has to do with perspective. Your foundational beliefs, thoughts, biases, and attitudes all affect the way you process information and experience the world around you. Having a growth mindset increases the likelihood of formulating a winning perspective and achieving long-term success. Perspective is also the driving force behind motivation. Motivation determines whether you are trying to achieve something because you see yourself lacking in some way, or it may be that you want to achieve your full potential. For instance, when you want to lose some weight, is it because you don't like your body, or is it because you want to be healthy? While either reason will move you towards your goal, the one triggered by feeling of lack will possibly be more tenuous. Set effective goals. There are many factors that affect an individual's growth mindset. One among these is setting effective and meaningful goals. When goals are set realistically, it becomes more probable to achieve them. Achieving major goals or even smaller milestones towards a bigger goal is a positive learning process for the growth mindset. A mind that is resilient will get you through the tough times and help you move on to the next challenge. Manage your inner negative voice. One of the biggest obstacles to having a growth mindset is your inner critical voice. This voice keeps telling you that you can't do it, it's not worth it. You are who you are and you need to learn to live with that. This inner voice reinforces the idea that things are given and you've only got so much influence over your life. Everyone, even those with a growth mindset, have this voice, and to change your mindset, you need to learn how to manage it. As a starting point, turn the can't in your mind into can, and add a yet to the end of your sentences. Facing adversity. A growth mindset is successful in facing adversity. If you want to get through the rough patches, you will need to face each challenge head on. If you avoid facing obstacles, you can't hope to maximize your current potential or develop new skills. Challenges present an opportunity to learn and expand, which means that you can also grow in the process. People with a growth mindset excel at challenges as these propel them forward. Be open to feedback. A growth mindset always welcomes feedback as it is another chance to learn. Feedback also provides the opportunity to improve your performance. It helps you determine which areas you need to improve and where you're doing well. And since feedback is provided by others, it is very important to interact with other people. Interacting or networking may involve stepping out of your comfort zone in order to inspire creativity. Imagine reaching your office where your boss calls you in to complain about a report you've prepared or a project you're handling. With a fixed mindset, you will see this as a chance to beat yourself up. You may also end up feeling that you're not good enough for this job or that your boss is absolutely clueless as to what it takes to get the job done. In either case, the rest of your day is spent cribbing and complaining in worst-case scenarios, even job hunting. But when you strive to develop a growth mindset, you'll see the same incident as something of a learning experience. You'll be more willing to evaluate your performance and seek constructive feedback that actually helps you figure out how to improve your project. Instead of muttering and mumbling, moving on will be much easier. In this video, we'll learn to deal with setbacks. After debating the good and the bad about different mindsets, it becomes clear that the way the mind responds to setbacks, disappointments, or failure is very important. For instance, for a fixed mindset, a setback becomes a failure that distorts reality. This distorted view prevents people from seeing a situation for what it is, and without a clear picture of the situation, it can become impossible to pivot, solve, or make any progress. But for a growth mindset, this setback doesn't become overwhelming. In fact, It is often seen as something that will redirect your efforts in the right direction. The importance of failure. For the go-getters, failure provides the opportunity to understand the gaps between what they wanted and the results they got. For anyone interested in improving their performance and results in the future, a little setback can take them a long way forward. This is because the setback provides the chance to locate the cause of the mistake and then adapt future efforts accordingly. Since it is important to realize that there will never be a situation where everything is perfect, it is equally important to expect setbacks on the way. The growth mindset sees failure as a stepping stone from which it can learn the following valuable life lessons. Experience and knowledge. The first important lesson learned from a mistake, setback, or failure is experience. When you make a mistake, you take with you first-hand experience, which helps you develop a deeper understanding. The experience helps you alter your frame of mind and reflect on the real nature of things. Another aspect of the same is that it brings with it first-hand knowledge. If you have a growth mindset, you will use that knowledge in the future to overcome that very same failure. Resilience and growth. Setbacks also help build resilience. To become successful, it is important that you know how to be resilient, so that your first instinct isn't to quit. The same resilience also leads to growth where you learn to evolve in the face of adversity. Accepting that it's alright to experience an occasional setback allows you to recover from failure faster. Having said that, remember, while it's okay to fail, it's not okay to give up. Change your strategy. Failure is an effective way to realize the need for change in your plans or strategies. While it is important to have a good plan in mind for success, it should not be set in stone. Instead, it should be flexible enough to allow you to review your approach, adjusting and measuring things as you move along. The important consideration in this aspect is that your goals should stay the same, but your plan should constantly evolve. Seeking inspiration through others. As you have already seen, the growth mindset seeks inspiration through others who are better at something, more successful, and get the desired results. This inspiration may be magnified even further. Your setback causes you to seek inspiration through others. You may start looking to well-known personalities from all walks of life and realize that every successful person has gone through a number of setbacks before achieving success. Using failure as leverage. You can use any setback as leverage to not only recover from, but also to propel forward. To leverage your setbacks, you need to know what you failed at and why. You also need to be aware of what you can do differently and how to avoid the same mistakes again. This mindset will help you move past your mistakes instead of equating failure with complete defeat. With the right mindset, you learn to grow and mature, gain new understanding and perspective on everything from love, life, business, money, relationships, and people. During this process, you're forced to make new connections and bridge gaps where you hadn't connected the dots before. Redefining priorities and values. Depending on your mindset, setbacks can either make you or break you. For the growth mindset, failure helps you reassess your priorities. Once you realize that a setback is only a temporary hurdle, you learn to look beyond it. You start reordering things that are most important and shuffle others around. In an attempt to recover and improve yourself, you start to make the needed adjustments. At the same time, each subsequent failure also helps reshape values. Since the growth mindset centers on constant evolution and improvement, you will realize that what you valued 10 years before is not what you value today. It's a constant work in progress that learns to move ahead, leaving setbacks behind. Don't let your failures define you. When you come across a setback, it's tempting to let it shape the way you see yourself. For instance, a failed relationship may make you believe that you're not as attractive as you thought. Or a job you really wanted but didn't get could make you believe that you're not that smart after all. However, it's important to understand that your worth isn't determined by circumstance. A better option would be to assess your skills and strengths by thinking about major setbacks from the past. Reviewing how you overcome those earlier obstacles can help devise a solid strategy. Helps reach your potential. For most people, failing means that they actually tried. They put forth effort to do something worthwhile which didn't work out. But both trying and failing can become valuable teachers for anyone with a growth mindset. Failure promotes better thinking and prepares you to maximize your potential for future efforts. The same also builds you up in ways you never thought possible by allowing you to take responsibility for your mistakes. Often, it's hard to realize what you're capable of until you try after failure. This also helps develop your potential. Failure is always better than regret. Failing is a much better alternative to regretting. Think about living with regret, not knowing what could have happened had you applied for that job, and then compare it with failing to secure the job but finding out where your shortcomings lay. At least with the failure option, you're closer to getting it right the next time. Success that comes easy often leaves tons of room for failure as it makes you feel that nothing could go wrong. But failure helps you not underestimate success and try harder next time. Regret, on the other hand, provides no such opportunity and only leaves you feeling dismal. Setbacks yield a sense of direction. Most people keep second guessing the decisions they take. They do so not because these decisions are right or wrong, but only because they aren't sure how things might pan out. But should a decision hit a setback, it points to a path for redirection. Now, a growth mindset is quick to grab this opportunity and learns from its mistakes. It develops a sense of clarity on where things went wrong and how to redirect your efforts to correct the mistake. And because redirection takes you into new venues, you get to explore more options and step out of your comfort zone. In this sense, failure can also help you get rid of the fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. Now you know that a growth mindset allows you to take on bold challenges without the element of fear. And even you are likely to encounter tough times, armed with the right mindset, you become more resilient. You also become more accepting when things go wrong, but your focus shifts to identifying a solution rather than running away from uncertainty. In essence, when you develop a growth mindset, you become a happier and healthier person who is not afraid to seek out new opportunities to continue on the path to self-improvement. Just remember that goals are a good thing to have, but can become destructive if you place too much value on them and too little on the road to achieving them. You have the power to choose which way you want to follow. If you're not satisfied with how you feel about yourself or your life, you can change your mindset to one that will let you grow and thrive.
Focusing on the gaps. A common mistake that we tend to do is to place all our attention and energy on what is missing in our life. On the other hand, people that live an abundant life are natural at putting their energy on what they want to manifest. By switching your thoughts to be more oriented to what you want, you are painting a clear picture of what it is that you desire. By doing so, it is easier to find what you seek when you know what you want, as opposed to what you know you don't want. Forget about the present. Those who live an abundant life have a greater ability to stay in the present moment. They don't tend to dwell on past events, nor do they focus on the future for happier times. They consider the present moment to be a good time and also an opportunity to choose to be happy. They don't delay living a happy life based on something they will get later. They find the joy in the present. A great way for you to get started is to take a moment now to appreciate the good that is in your life now. 3 mistakes people make that stops them from living an abundant life. In this presentation, we will show you 3 mistakes that some make and stops them from creating and living a life that is abundant and fulfilling. These 3 missteps are not always conscious. Let's find out what they are. Focusing on the gaps. A common mistake that we tend to do is to place all our attention and energy on what is missing in our life. On the other hand, people that live an abundant life are natural at putting their energy on what they want to manifest. By switching your thoughts to be more oriented to what you want, you are painting a clear picture of what it is that you desire. By doing so, it is easier to find what you seek when you know what you want, as opposed to what you know you don't want. Forget about the present. Those who live an abundant life have a greater ability to stay in the present moment. They don't tend to dwell on past events, nor do they focus on the future for happier times. They consider the present moment to be a good time and also an opportunity to choose to be happy. They don't delay living a happy life based on something they will get later. They find the joy in the present. A great way for you to get started is to take a moment now to appreciate the good that is in your life now. Feed a sense of urgency. Some believe that being in the present moment means to manifest everything you need now. In fact, it is demonstrated that people who feed a scarcity mindset, which is the opposite of an abundance mindset, will be more prone to focus on immediate wants. They feel the need for instant gratification, like it is urgent that the need is met now. This type of behavior can be detrimental to one's life and have a negative impact on their future. A great example is when we receive a sum of money that wasn't expected. Someone with a scarcity mindset will have the urge to spend it right away on things that are not necessarily essentials. It is almost like they feel the money will disappear if they don't spend it now. Meanwhile, someone with an abundance mindset won't demonstrate that sense of urgency. 3 steps to manifest what you desire. In this tutorial, you will learn 3 steps you can take today to manifest what you desire in your life. These 3 steps are actions that people with an abundant mindset do naturally to bring more abundance around them. Define what you want clearly. Imagine that you work at an electronics store. You see a customer wandering around looking like he can't find what he's looking for. You want to help him, so you approach him and ask if you can help them find what they're looking for. The customer says yes. Then you proceed to ask what he's looking for, and the customer answers, "I'm not sure. I was hoping you could help me find it." The moral of this story is that it is practically impossible for the universe to give you what you want if you don't know what you want. People who know exactly what they want can manifest their desires. It is sometimes easier to identify what we want by focusing on a feeling. For example, you know you don't want to be tied financially because you need to feel financial freedom. That feeling will be important because the more that feeling is present in your life, the more you will know that you are moving toward what you desire. Identify actions you can take. Once you've identified what you want more in your life, you can start brainstorming a list of small actions. This will get you closer to your desire. Don't hesitate to do this with friends who can help you find creative ways to manifest your desires. If you use the previous example, the feeling of financial freedom, we can ask ourselves, what can bring me financial freedom? Paying my credit card debt would bring me a feeling of financial freedom. What action can I take right now to pay my credit card debt? Then make a list of actions like the following. Make a daily deposit of $10 to my credit card until I have paid it off. Cut my credit card so that I never use it again. Sell clothes that I no longer wear and use the money to pay my credit card. Act now. Pick an action that is the most realistic for you and apply it today. Only actions will lead you to what you desire. 3 things successful people do to bring abundance in their life. In this tutorial, we will show you how you can access an abundant, happy, and fulfilling life. You will learn 3 things that successful people apply in their life and allow them to reach abundance. Write in a gratitude journal daily. Being grateful about what is present in your life is a great way to attract more positive experiences. If you take the time to recognize the good things happening in your life, you are more likely going to express appreciation toward the people around you and your life in general. When you are in a space of appreciation and positive thinking, you are saying yes to the universe. You're moving yourself out of the scarcity mindset, which is a mindset that attracts limitations, and moving into an abundance mindset, which will allow you to be more open to receive. Express self-love. We often hear that we should not be selfish, that we should be kind and show compassion toward others. In reality, self-love is not selfishness. It is putting ourselves as a priority so that we can be our best self in our life and for others. Being your best self means that you have the energy and a state of mind that allows you to be present and love who you are. By appreciating yourself more and accepting that you don't need to be perfect to receive love, you are shifting your mind to be more open to receive. If you are able to receive love from yourself, you will quickly see that love is more present in your life. The more you're comfortable with yourself, the more you will attract positive experiences and open your arms to welcome abundance in your life. Receive with arms wide open. Some people are really uncomfortable with receiving help, gifts, or a compliment from a friend. If this is the case for you, you need to learn to say thank you and stop trying to find excuses that express that you are not worthy of receiving. It doesn't matter in what form you refuse receiving. When you do so, You are sending a message to the universe that you are not worthy of receiving something, and that completely blocks the flow to manifest an abundant life. Start today by learning to say thank you when you receive something. 3 things you can do now to increase abundance in your life. In this presentation, we will provide you with 3 simple things you can do today to increase abundance in your life. Everybody wants a life that is rich and full of abundance, but not many know how to do it. Here are 3 practical things that will help you create an abundant life. Appreciate what you have. A simple step to abundance is to start recognizing how rich your life already is. Take the time to appreciate what you have in your life. Maybe it is health, people you love, your colleagues, skills, or the simple beauty of nature that surrounds you every day. The more you bring your mind in a space of appreciation and recognition, the more you are allowing yourself to attract positive things to your life. You will find yourself realizing how abundant your life is and that what you need is right there in front of you. Accept and let go. The opposite of an abundant life is scarcity. Scarcity is when we perceive that we don't have enough in our life. In order to move yourself from that space of not enough, you need to accept that sometimes you don't have what you want at that moment. The worst you can do next is to dwell on it. When you focus too much on what you don't have, you get into a space where you are unable to manifest what you want. You need to let go of those destructive thinking patterns and instead give you energy to create what you want. When you realize that you don't have something, rephrase to state that you want to have it. Accomplish small actions. Abundance doesn't happen overnight. Most people who live an abundant life will tell you that they work at it every day. On a daily basis, they are accomplishing small actions that align them with what they want in life. For example, if what you want is more money, each day you can make a small deposit in a savings account. $5 a day will become $150 at the end of the month and $1,825 at the end of the year. If, on the other hand, you want more love in your life, start with self-love. Every day, make a point to recognize one thing you love about yourself. 5 signs that you are not open to receive the abundance of the universe. In this presentation, we will explore 5 signs that will help you understand why you are not living an abundant and fulfilling life. You don't ask for help. If you resist asking for help or accepting help when you need it, you are telling the universe that you are not deserving. That type of belief or perception is blocking you from receiving in other spheres of your life. If you can't accept help from others, you can't accept a little help from the universe. Try to find ways to ask for help. Most people love helping others, and you might just make someone's day by asking them to assist you in your life. You are uncomfortable with compliments. Compliments are a form of receiving. If you are uncomfortable with receiving compliments, you are showing a form of discomfort with receiving the abundance around you. You don't need to find excuses for why you are not worthy of receiving compliments. You just need to say thank you and maybe add a smile. You dwell on the past. When you spend your energy thinking about past events, it leaves you with no energy to manifest what you want in life. If you want to change or accept your past, you just have to make choices in the now and bring your attention back to what you can do now to feel happier. What choice can you do right now to help you access more abundance? One way would be to express gratitude in regards to what your life is today. You often use the words don't or can't. Limiting words like can't, won't, or don't creates limiting beliefs and can manifest as a limited life. Catch yourself using those words and transform them into words that empower you to do something about the situation. For example, if you say, I don't have enough money to do, you can change the sentence to, I could save some money to do. You envy others. Envy is a behavior that attracts a belief that there isn't enough abundance in this world for everyone. That conviction leads to a scarcity mindset, which limits us and only focus on the gaps. In order to shift to an abundance mindset, you need to start recognizing the good in your life and stop comparing to others. How to move from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. In this tutorial, we will teach you how you can move from a scarcity mindset to a mindset that attracts an abundant, happy, and fulfilling life. A scarcity mindset is focused on what you don't have in your life. Our mind becomes busy worrying and stops us from accessing what we want from life. A scarcity mindset will focus on limitations. When you limit yourself with your beliefs and actions, you are not open to receive or recognize that abundance is all around you. It is important to understand that with an abundant mindset, we realize that there is enough in this world for everyone to receive. You let go of feelings like jealousy, envy, or pity for yourself and take matters in your own hands. With an abundant mindset, you don't focus on the limitation, but you focus on what you can do now to change the situation, to bring you one step closer to what you want. The best way to move from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset is to be aware of your scarcity-based thinking patterns. Start by identifying which area of your life you perceive as not being enough. That could be financial, relationships, work, social, or personal. Once you've identified the area that is the most challenging for you, reflect on what it is that you want. What does abundance in that area look like? What are you doing now that is limiting you from accessing abundance? What can you do to change your situation? Once you've identified what you can do in your life, make sure that you choose to express what you want as opposed to what you don't want. Here's an example. Sally feels like she is unhappy in her relationship. She would love to access an abundant love life. She wants to manifest a love relationship that is fulfilling and allowing her to be happy. What she perceives as limiting her from accessing an abundant love life is her partner who is not present for her. Instead of sitting back and feeling sorry for herself, she chooses to express her feelings to her partner by sharing with him what she wants, which is to grow closer to him. By focusing on what she wants, she's able to clearly express the need as opposed to the gap. How to receive more in life. In this tutorial, we will teach you how you can receive more in your life. You can start applying the following suggestions today and live a more abundant, happy, and fulfilling life. First, let's identify what you want to receive more of. Do you want to have more money, more love, more joy, or a better health? Choose one thing for now and be clear in what it is that you want to manifest in your life. Now that you've picked one thing, let's explore it a bit deeper. Ask yourself, why is it that you want this so much in your life? What will it bring you? Ask why 5 times to get at the bottom of what you truly want. Here's an example. I want more money. Why do you want more money? I want more money because it will give me more freedom. Why will it give you freedom? Having more money will allow me to do what I want. Why do you want to do what you want? Because if I do what I want, I will be happier. Why do you want to be happier? Because when I am happy, I don't worry and it feels good. Why does it feel good? Because I can be myself and do what my heart wants. The purpose of the 5 whys is to lead you to the true reason why you want something and especially dig more into the feeling that what we want will bring us. In the example I provided you with, you can see that wanting more money leads to wanting to be myself and listen to my heart. This last piece can give you a lead on actions to put in place that will help you reach that feeling. My next question to that person would be, what is stopping you from being yourself now? In your case, you can ask yourself, what stops you from assessing what you truly want? Make a list of those barriers. Then ask yourself, what would you do to remove those barriers? Make a list of 5 simple actions that you could do. Choose one action that you would like to do and apply it today. Then reflect on how it made you feel and try the next action in the list. You will be surprised where it leads you. The 3 secrets of an abundant mindset. In this presentation, you will learn 3 important secrets that will open the door for you to access an abundant mindset. When we start applying some of the techniques to live an abundant life, we are often not very successful at first. The following secrets will help you understand why we are sometimes unable to manifest what we want in life, even if we apply the techniques that we are taught. Learn to receive. The biggest reason that blocks many of us from receiving the abundance that exists in our world is a deep belief that we are not worthy of it. Ask yourself, how do you behave when someone compliments you on your skills or how you look? Do you have the tendency to find an excuse? Or maybe you simply change the subject. People with an abundance mindset are not afraid to say thank you when someone gives them a compliment. If you want to start receiving the abundance, start with a simple thank you. Find what you love. In order to have an abundant life, you need to figure out what it is that you love doing. Many times we try to do something that others do simply because they are successful. The more you will align with what you love doing, the more abundance you will attract in your life. If you're trying to be someone else, you will block the flow of abundance because you are not in the heart space, but in the mind space. If someone succeeds at something, it isn't because of what they do, but because of who they are. Feel what you want. It is not only important to identify what you want, but it is more important to feel what you want. Let me give you an example. You've decided that you want to purchase a home, but unfortunately, you don't have the financial means to do it. Take a moment to picture yourself in a home. What is it that you feel? Joy? Happiness? Try to identify the feeling attached to that idea. Now see how you can bring that feeling into the present moment. What can you do right now to bring you the same feeling? The more you will align with the feeling that what you want brings you, the more you will attract it in your life. In this presentation, we will reveal the secret ingredient that you need to access an abundant, happy, and fulfilling life. Have you ever wondered why some people are more successful than others in life? Wouldn't it be nice to have everything that you need? You're only missing one very important ingredient to access it. The secret ingredient is your mindset. Yes. Depending on how you use that ingredient, you can either make a perfect recipe for abundance or you can completely destroy it. Here's how you can make sure that you are selecting that ingredient wisely. First, you need to find a fresh mindset, one that is not jaded or too ripped. The finest mindset is the one that smells positive and tastes happy. Do not worry. If you're not sure where you can find a fresh mindset, with some effort, you can certainly grow one. What you will need to grow a perfect mindset for abundance is an environment where the mindset can be nourished by appreciation and gratitude. You can show appreciation by recognizing the good things around you. It can be as simple as appreciating that you are able to breathe today. That is a miracle when you think about it. You can also show more gratitude by welcoming accomplishments or gifts with a simple thank you. Being open to receive will allow your mindset to flourish. Another aspect to grow a mindset for abundance is to welcome any situation as an opportunity to learn. When you start looking at obstacles as a way to change and be more aligned with what you want, you realize that there are no mistakes but simply redirections. One last thing is that an abundance mindset is more likely to exist in an environment where the word can't doesn't live. The word can't is not useful and serves one purpose: to limit your growth. If you catch yourself using that word, try to redirect yourself to something more empowering. When you say, "I can't do it," go back to rephrase that by stating what you can do. For example, the sentence, "I can't be happy with him," would become, "I can choose to be happy now." Or, "I can't pay off my credit card," would become, "I can stop using my credit card." Practice, and you will find the mindset for an abundant life. Top 3 ways to change your mindset. This presentation will show you how to train your mind so that you acquire a new perspective on things that allows you to attract abundance in your life. You will learn 3 tricks to help you shift your mindset when you worry. These key aspects are natural abilities in people with an abundance mindset. Be in the present moment. By being in the present moment, you're able to not worry about the future or simmer on the past. Your mind will spend less energy on the things that don't really matter in the end. Normally, when we are in the present moment, we recognize that at that moment we are safe, well, and can have access to inner peace. To practice being in the present moment, you can simply observe your surroundings. Take a minute to notice what you see, what you smell, what you hear, what you feel, and what you taste. This will help you to enjoy being more in the present moment. Let go of the past and stop worrying about the future. Focus on what you want. Most of us have the tendency to think of things or situations that we don't want to see happen. For example, let's say that you're trying to increase your financial status. You've applied for 3 jobs. It's been 2 days and you haven't received any word from the places you've applied for. You will likely start focusing on the fact that you don't have an update from the companies. This way of thinking is the downfall toward negative emotions. On the other hand, you have the ability to switch your mindset and focus on something that you want. For example, you have applied for 3 jobs and you will manifest the one that is best for you. Be grateful. A scarcity mindset is a mindset where we perceive that we don't have enough. To shift your mind to an abundance mindset, you have to recognize the good in your life. A great way to do so is to take the time, every day, to write down 3 things you are most grateful for in your life. You can also take the time to tell people around you why you're grateful to have them in your life. Whatever you put out into the universe will come back to you tenfold.
All of us have common mistakes we make and common traits that hold us back. We're all guilty of occasionally falling into old habits and routines that we associate with suboptimal performance. Maybe you're someone who is very pessimistic. Maybe you're an angry person with a short temper. Maybe you're known for trying to cut corners and making mistakes as a result. You might try to break free from these associations, but find that it's hard to do so. We often fall back into our old ways and end up making the same old mistakes. Why is this? And what can you do about it? The problem we are describing here is sometimes referred to as pattern thinking. It means that our thoughts take on certain predictable patterns that are hard for us to break out of. So how do you overcome this pattern thinking? Where does it come from? Pattern thinking is a result of brain plasticity, the ability of the brain to change and grow in response to the way you use it. Every time you think or do something new, you create new pathways and connections as physical alterations in the biology of the brain. But if the brain is so changeable, how does this lead to pattern thinking? 3 self-limiting beliefs that are holding you back from achieving success. The things you believe about yourself and about the world are ultimately what will define how you think about yourself and how you act. Beliefs determine thoughts, and thoughts determine behavior. This is what many people don't realize when trying to start a business, improve their relationships, or otherwise make big changes in their lives. They focus far too much on external factors and forget to look at themselves. If you have a limiting belief, then no changes you make to your environment or circumstances will lead to the outcomes you desire. Here are 3 examples of limiting beliefs that can have that effect. You're not good enough. Let's say you have a great idea for a business or for a new book, but you haven't followed through with it. Why might that be? For many people, it's down to the belief that they aren't good enough to succeed. And with that belief, they find it better simply not to try. The same thing can hold you back in a relationship if you think you're not good enough for someone. The truth is that you most likely are far more talented and capable than you give yourself credit for. Everything needs to be perfect. There is another common belief that can prevent many people from doing their best work. You will see this in particular with people who have created something that they plan to share with the world or sell. Very often, they will keep on working on their creation for years and years before abandoning it. Why? Because they are perfectionists, and they want to make their project perfect before releasing it. The problem? Nothing is ever perfect, and by doing this, they actually end up just procrastinating and putting off the moment where they might finally see a return on all their hard work. Failure is final. This belief is tied to the last one, the idea that if you fail, there is no turning back. This prevents people from taking chances, because they are so afraid of the consequences of getting something wrong. The truth, though, is that in dating, in health, in business, and in creative endeavors, you don't fail until you stop trying. Each failure is really just a lesson, allowing you to come back stronger and do better next time. When you view it this way, you will find that you never need to give up. 3 things that are draining your confidence. Confidence is one of the single most crucial contributors to success or failure. Your confidence, or lack thereof, is what will determine whether you take chances, whether you give up, and how others see you. The problem is that a lot of people lack confidence, and therefore never fulfill their potential. In this presentation, we'll look at 3 reasons why that might be. 3 reasons that may be destroying your confidence, and ways you can overcome these things in order to become the best version of you and enjoy a happier and more successful life. Other people. One of the number 1 things that can drain confidence is unfortunately the influence of other people. Many of us have friends who put us down, even partners and parents who do. Others might have cruel or unkind colleagues. The aim then is try and remove those influences wherever possible from your life. If you feel that someone is a toxic or negative influence on you, then stop spending time with them wherever possible. If that's not an option, then simply remind yourself that it's most likely that they are unhappy with themselves and that this is why they are taking out their feelings on you. Past experiences. We are all shaped and guided by our past experiences, and some of us will have particular relationships, jobs, or other memories that make it hard for us to believe in ourselves and what we're capable of. Learning to let go is a valuable and important skill, and one that you can do by reliving those experiences with a calmer mind and assessing them logically. Another tip, move on by throwing yourself into a new relationship or project once you're ready. Shortcomings. Another thing that can drain your confidence is simply focusing on your own shortcomings, things you can't do or don't like about yourself. The bad news is that some of your shortcomings you'll never be able to change. But at the same time, you will find that there are ways to overcome those setbacks. Focus not only on drawbacks, but on your skills and abilities. Find partners and teammates who can complement your skills with their own. And likewise, try to choose projects that play to your strengths. And where possible, do what you can to work on your weaknesses. If you don't like the way you look, then dressing sharp and choosing the right haircut can do a world of good for your confidence. 3 tricks to instantly turn negative thoughts into positive thoughts. Negative thoughts have far more profound negative impact on our lives than many people realize. A negative thought can not only make you feel less happy in the moment, but can cause you to engage in less optimistic and positive behavior. Over time, these small differences add up to huge changes and make you a much less happy and successful individual. The good news? It's possible to take any negative thought and turn it into something much more positive. In this presentation, we'll look at how you can go about doing just that. See the challenge. One way to turn a negative thought into a positive one is to relish in the challenge. If you find yourself stressed about the amount of work coming up, for instance, you can just tell yourself that you'll need to work extra hard and that this is a test of your ability. You can then also relish in the feeling of success when it all goes to plan. The beauty of life. A sad thought can be crushing and really take the wind out of our sails at times. But while sad thoughts might be difficult to deal with, The thing to remember is that they are just a part of life and are actually extremely important to helping us live life to the fullest. Without sadness or the occasional thing going wrong, we would never get to appreciate how great it is when things go right. Moreover, if you feel sad that something ended, it means that you enjoyed a relationship or experience that was truly worthwhile. All good things come to an end. You can accept this inevitability and feel lucky that it happened at all. Thought challenging. Finally, if the thoughts are still pervasively negative, it might be time to challenge them. Thought challenging is a cognitive restructuring technique that comes from cognitive behavioral therapy. It means looking at the content of a limiting belief or negative thought. If I try X, then I will end up penniless. And then really assessing logically just how likely that is. Often, you can definitely prove that the fears and thoughts holding you back are not based on reality, but are instead simply self-defense mechanisms. Once you can disprove your concerns or show that they are highly unlikely, you will find it's much easier to chase after the things you want in life. 5 mantras that will boost your self-esteem. A mantra is a positive statement or word that you repeat over and over in order to change the way you are thinking. By doing this, you can remind yourself to alter your focus and to overcome negative emotions. Mantras like this can be used in the moment in order to put your mind at rest and build confidence before an interview, date, exam, or anything else. What really makes mantras powerful, though, is the fact that repeating them every single day can help you to develop positive habits and even grow and thicken your neural tissue so that it becomes easier to think positively as a natural tendency. Without further ado then, let's listen to 5 positive mantras that will boost your self-esteem. Number 1. I have already accomplished a lot. This one is a great one because it reminds you to reflect on your past wins rather than losses, and to remember that no matter what happens in the future, you have already accomplished a great deal. We have all things to be proud of, so if you take a moment to reflect on those things, you'll be able to attack your next challenge with a fresh vigor and positivity. Number 2. I have friends and family who love me. This is a great one to remember because it shows that you must have great value and worth to those people, and also reminds you that whatever else happens, this truth will be a constant. Number 3. I am constantly growing and adapting. Nothing is set in stone. You don't have to accept your limitations because you are constantly growing and improving yourself. By doing this, you are able to see your limitations as temporary challenges to overcome, and not as permanent barriers standing in your way. Number 4. I can choose how to respond. This one is a reminder that you're in control, and that you have an internal focus of control. Many of us feel like victims that are beholden to circumstance and the environment. In truth, though, you are always able to control your response to a situation, and therefore to make the best of a potentially negative situation. Remember this, and you'll be happier and more in command of your own destiny. Number 5. Everyone is equal. This one is great because it's not only a kind message, but also one that helps you take the world by storm. When you remember that everyone is equal, it means that you are also equal. Too many of us think that we are somehow inferior, but by honestly believing that everyone has value, you remind yourself that you do as well. Thus, you have just as much to offer as anyone else, and they better listen up. 5 morning mindset rituals to help you win the day. Here's how the typical day starts. Stop me if it sounds familiar. Your alarm blares at 7 a.m. in the morning and makes you jump into life. Never mind that this creates a huge surge of cortisol and adrenaline that makes you extremely stressed. Then you check your emails and feel a little bit more stressed about that one from your boss. Then you drink a strong mug of coffee, basically stress in a mug, before hopping into your car, onto the subway, and being stressed by all the other commuters. Not exactly a relaxing way to start your day, right? But what can you do? Well, listen to the rest of this presentation, and I'm going to share with you 5 morning rituals that will put you in a much more positive mindset. Wake naturally. First, wake naturally. Either use light from the window or invest in a medical-grade daylight lamp that will slowly get brighter and wake you that way. Don't look at your phone or email. Not only does the light from a computer or phone trigger cortisol release, But looking at a phone this way is liable to mean feeling stressed about emails and problems. You become reactive rather than proactive. Save this until you get into work. Have a green tea. The natural balance of caffeine and I-theanine will help you wake up, but in a much gentler and more natural way that is actually very good for you. Write down 3 things you are grateful for. This is a great way to put yourself in a positive mindset and to remind yourself of things you've done right. You can even try focusing on your recent wins and successes, which will help you start the day feeling like a successful winner rather than someone who is struggling just to stay afloat. Meditate. Finally, try 10 minutes of meditation. While there are many different forms of meditation, they all ultimately describe the same thing: focusing on something and choosing what you want your mind to concentrate on. Using meditation can thereby help you to rise above your problems and stresses, and to achieve a sense of calm that will prevent you feeling anxious or upset. What's more, is that this will help you to become better at doing that naturally over time. Your default response to problems will be to feel calm and focus on something else, rather than let them take over your emotions. How to condition your mind to attract anything you want. There are things that all of us want to achieve in life. Even the happiest and most accomplished person will still have goals and aims. But if you're going to be successful in achieving those things, first you need to identify why you haven't already been successful. And this comes down to looking at your thoughts and emotions. The issue is that most of us possess limiting thoughts and beliefs that make us think we can't achieve the things we want. We believe that we don't deserve happiness, or we believe that we aren't good enough. Maybe we're scared of the things that could go wrong, or maybe we lack the confidence we need to speak up. That in turn will then change the way others see you, as well as your own behavior. This process can actually have the effect of preventing you from achieving the things you want to or fulfilling your potential. Let's say you want a promotion at work. If you hold on to the belief that you aren't good at your job, then you likely won't speak up in meetings, won't dress in a sharp suit, won't take on more responsibilities, etc. The result? People don't think you are very good at your job, and you don't progress. Conversely, if you think you're amazing at your job, then you'll be more outspoken, and you'll be more likely to achieve the things you want. The same is true in dating, travel, creative work, and much more. You change your thoughts, you change the outcomes. How do you achieve this? First, you make sure you understand this truth, which will help you to better recognize that everything is negotiable. Next, you start to dress, act, and behave as though you are already the person you want to be. That means dressing for the job you want, using a confident body language, and speaking in a confident manner. Over time, this practice will help you to create new neural pathways, and after a while of faking it, that behavior will become normal. But just wait 1 minute. That might all sound great, but acting more confident is easier said than done, right? It's hard to act like someone you're not. Well, in that case, you might appreciate this little trick. Try visualizing instead. Visualization is risk-free and something you can do from the comfort of your home. But the best part? It is just as effective at creating new neural pathways and habits. And that is how you condition your mind to attract anything you want. How to develop a gratitude attitude. Many of us believe that the way we think and feel is something that we have no control over. We believe that this is a part of our personality, and that our personality is a biologically set variable. In truth, though, your personality is permeable, the result of a plastic and flexible brain that is constantly changing and adapting like a muscle. And just like a muscle, you can train your personality in order to become more conducive to the kinds of things you want to accomplish in life. In this presentation, we'll see how you can train yourself to feel more gratitude, and how this can make you happier and more successful. First then, why is gratitude so important? The simple reason is that gratitude allows us to stop and feel appreciation for the things we have already accomplished. Very often, we make the mistake of constantly chasing after the next thing without ever stopping to appreciate what we already have. Not only does this mean we never feel happiness or a sense of accomplishment, it also means that we lose sight of what is important and what matters. This is the fate of many a high-flying executive who worked harder and harder to earn more money so that they could spend more time with their family, never to realize that they now have the money and freedom to do just that, but are still taking on too much work. So how do you cultivate gratitude and reset your mind? The answer is to take time every day to look at the things that you have in your life that you're grateful for, and to allow yourself to enjoy how those things make you feel. When you wake up tomorrow morning, start your day by sitting down and writing down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be big things, your health, your marriage, your children, or small things, your cereal. By taking a moment to think about this, you can remind yourself that life is good and that you have a lot to be thankful for. Not only that, but you might realize you have everything you need and can be content with what you've already accomplished. More importantly, though, by continuously rehearsing gratitude, you'll find you can actually strengthen the brain networks associated with this behavior. The result? It becomes a habit, and you find yourself happier and more positive all the time. How to feel positive every day with 3 simple tricks. Positivity is one of the most powerful and most underrated traits that we can develop. So often you hear about people wanting to be better looking, stronger, thinner, smarter, or funnier. But how about more positive? Being more positive means you'll take more chances in your life. It means that you'll be more inclined to spot positive opportunities. And it means that you'll give off a positive energy that makes others want to spend time with you. In fact, you can even become luckier by many measures, simply by adopting a more positive mindset. This has to do with the law of attraction, which we won't get into here. So how do you become more positive? Here are 3 easy tricks you can use every single day. Focus on the positive. Many people will try to develop a gratitude attitude by focusing on the things in life that they are grateful for. They might do this at the end of each day by writing down those things in a journal, for example. But you can really do this with anything. How about taking the time to write down 3 things you did really well lately? Or 3 things that you are excited about and looking forward to? You can do this in the morning, and you'll find that you feel more positive for the rest of the day. Plus, you'll find it becomes easier to think more positively in the future as you develop the habit. Looking for the positive spin. In a similar manner, you can likewise practice looking for the positive spin in any situation. When something bad happens, look for the opportunities and ask yourself what the good news is. While this can be hard when you're feeling low, it can also immediately improve the situation, and it can help you to develop more positive habits. Look after your health. Finally, know that positivity is born from the way you feel in yourself. If you're hungry, tired, and out of shape, then you will struggle to focus on the positive. Sleep well, eat well, and supplement your diet with nutrients, and you'll feel more positive all of the time. Exercise is particularly good for this because it encourages the production of endorphins, like serotonin, that place us in a better mood, thereby making everything else seem more positive. How to let go of pattern thinking. All of us have common mistakes we make and common traits that hold us back. We're all guilty of occasionally falling into old habits and routines that we associate with suboptimal performance. Maybe you're someone who is very pessimistic. Maybe you're an angry person with a short temper. Maybe you're known for trying to cut corners and making mistakes as a result. You might try to break free from these associations, but find that it's hard to do so. We often fall back into our old ways and end up making the same old mistakes. Why is this? And what can you do about it? The problem we're describing here is sometimes referred to as pattern thinking. It means that our thoughts take on certain predictable patterns that are hard for us to break out of. So how do you overcome this pattern thinking? Where does it come from? Pattern thinking is a result of brain plasticity, the ability of the brain to change and grow in response to the way you use it. Every time you think or do something new, you create new pathways and connections as physical alterations in the biology of the brain. But if the brain is so changeable, how does this lead to pattern thinking? The problem is that if you keep doing the same thing, then you will keep reinforcing the same behavior. Imagine a ski slope. The snow is highly malleable. But if everyone takes the precise route to the bottom, then that route will become deeply ingrained, and it will be harder to go any other way. This is what happens in the brain. By repeating the same thoughts over and over, those thoughts become deeply ingrained and hard to override. So what can you do? There are a few things. The first is to make a good conscious effort to change yourself and to change how you view yourself. You can even throw a good pie party for your old self in order to restart life as someone new. This big gesture can help you to let go of those old patterns of behavior. Another option is to change your environment. The nature of our thoughts is such that they are triggered by many of the things in our environment that we have come to associate with them. While not everyone can afford to up and move country, even just redecorating can help you to mark a new start and to change the variables your brain receives as input. How to use the power of journaling to clear the mind. Many of us struggle daily with a noisy, angry, and anxious mind. We have 1,000 thoughts racing all at once, and this causes us to be distracted, unhappy, and far less effective and efficient than we could be. The good news is that there are many different ways that you can overcome this noise, and many different tools that you can use to calm and clear the mind. One of the most powerful of these, journaling. In this presentation, we'll see what journaling is, why it's such a powerful tool, and how you can start using it. So journaling essentially means keeping a diary of events and taking time to write down things that happen. Normally, you would do this at the end of every day. You can write as much or as little as you'd like. And while you can't find structured books that help to guide you through the journaling process, it's also possible to approach journaling in a completely free-form manner and to write about whatever you wish. There are a few goals. Firstly, writing down what happened during the day is a great way to take stock and to see what went well and what went badly. We call this black box thinking, in that it allows you to see the mistakes you made to ensure you work better in the future. This can help you to dream more effectively and to remember more. When we sleep, we form stronger memories about important things, and we also make novel connections from what we've learned in order to learn new things. By writing last thing at night, you can tell your brain what to focus on when forming memories and coming up with new ideas. You can likewise use journaling in order to help yourself work through difficult emotions and things that went wrong. When you have an argument or you make a mistake, it's common to find yourself reacting harshly in the moment. This is naturally due to the cascade of neurotransmitters and hormones that flood into our brain. By taking time to take stock and to think about what happened logically, you can look at the problem with a much cooler head. The result, you wake up the next day with a calmer mind, and you are more likely to perform well and feel good about yourself.